Welcome back. We are Lights Camera Media. We will be discussing the documentary King of Kong, which was directed by Seth Gordon, along with the articles Greenberg's Avant Garde and Sontag's Notes on Camp. I am Peter.
I'm Ava.
I'm Michael.
I'm Aisha.
The film that we'll be discussing is The King of Kong, A Fistful of Quarters, released in 2007, directed by Seth Gordon. We'll be discussing it in tandem with the two articles mentioned before regarding kitsch and camp. The film is a story about Steve Wiebe finding out about a record held on Donkey Kong by Billy Mitchell and the two men battling it out to get their records in the Guinness Book of World Records for 2007. I feel like we can start with I
Billy
would
Mitchell.
argue that the film is definitely more camp than it is kitsch.
Yeah.
I think this is just kind of random, but I feel like the title, a fistful of quarters, is kind of kitschy.
Yeah.
It's just a little corny. I don't know, I can see a Midwestern mother be like, oh, that's hilarious. That's what I feel like kitsch is. Just
I feel like what was his name? Billy Mitchell. Is that right? Yeah, Billy
Yeah.
Mitchell. I feel like his entire personality is like the idea of kitsch because, kitsch is, concocted and geared to exploit working class desires. But it's just like his entire thing is he's a scammer and then he owns his own hot sauce company or something
Yeah,
like that.
like, what is
Doing hot sauce company.
that? Yeah.
He has his own self mythology too. Like, what's going on?
wait, he's the one with the long hair, right? I'm really
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
The goofball.
And also
Yeah.
his tie collection feels kitsch.
Yeah.
The fact that his tag is USA and all of his ties are USA kind of branded, like an American flag, the Statue of Liberty, that felt kitsch. Those elements, I think kitsch in this film is more so elements within people's personality
Yeah.
than the movie itself, the documentary itself.
Yeah.
I guess the other thing that I feel could be kitsch is an arcade itself, the setting itself. I feel like the machines being there, being some of the men have them in their homes, that feels kitsch more than camp.
Right.
I don't think any of the film form elements or any artistic part of the documentary is really kitsch. It just all is within the uncontrollable things that they have in their houses. Derek's mother's couches, I thought were kitsch, when you see them for literally 2 seconds in the back of her interviews, because they're the same pale color as those. They're baby angel things that we talked about in class that one time. That
Oh
were
yeah.
the definition of kitsch. They're the same. I'm sure that woman has those angels in her house.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I feel although I feel like any of the women in this film could have it in their
Yeah.
house. It feels like anyone in that film could.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I hear kitsch and I think of those type of white women.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is that species of white women. I feel like
Jesus is crazy.
Is it are they in the Midwest?
yeah, it's Midwest and
Yeah,
North Pacific.
Midwestern white
It's
women.
North Pacific or Pacific Northwest and then Midwest. And it's that brand.
We're very point, I feel like. I don't know.
I feel like it's
Maybe not quaint, but
I have this feeling that there's certain mindsets that those types of people have to be in when they get those things. I don't feel like somebody from Massachusetts or the Northeast would have those things.
Right.
no, not born and raised in
Yeah.
the greater
They
Boston.
could. I feel like maybe an older woman who is originally from the North or the Midwest has those things, but not, I don't know. Not to call out the Midwest in that way, but to call out the Midwest in that way. I think the men in the film are very campy, though.
The men are so campy.
So campy.
Oh my God. I don't even know where to start, really.
I feel like the one that stood out to me the most was Walter. The
Was he-
ref, the ref
Ref,
with like
right.
yeah.
the beard, the one who would just like randomly pop up and be singing in a field with his guitar. And you're like,
I was
what are you
really
doing?
wondering about that.
Yeah.
Like, what does that
Like,
have?
what are you doing
Like,
here?
where did bro spawn in from? Like, this is crazy.
We have this whole film on King Kong and this sort of nemesis between these two guys, and then there's this other guy on a side quest just doing music out in the field, providing the soundtrack.
But the soundtrack was also like weirdly good.
Yeah.
It was like random songs thrown in, and you're like, damn, that's kind of like a banger for no reason being thrown into this generally not great film.
Yeah.
Like
Wasn't
the
like Eye
quality
of
of
the
this film
Tiger
is campy.
in it at one point?
What, Peter?
Eye of the Tiger was in it, I think.
Yeah, Eye of the Tiger. I had Eye of the Tiger and where'd you
That's
go?
insane.
Sorry, it's in my notes.
Who? I need to know
You're
about
the
like this
best from You're the Best from the Karate Kid movie.
It's been years since I've seen
Is that
Karate
the-
Kid.
It's when
Yeah.
the guy slams the trunk and then it kicks back in. It's like
Oh,
they come in, they're going around the arcade, and it's like, you're the best around, you're the best. And then he goes outside and slams the trunk because he like lost.
Right.
That's when that song's playing, and it really stood out to me because it was like, what is this song doing in this film? And I think it's important to like note that what I'm talking about camp in the article, the first article, the avant-garde article, I think that's the article it's from, when Sontag mentions bad to the point of laughable, but not bad to the point of being enjoyable.
for camp.
Yeah.
For camp. Sontag
Yeah.
notes on camp.
Like it's bad to the point of like being funny, but I don't think I would actively sit down and watch this film again.
I kind of was just like, is this really like, are they being for real right now?
Yeah,
Like,
Billy
they
Mitchell, no,
never
that
let
is his
go of the
actual
bit.
personality.
Billy Mitchell and his spies on the inside.
Yeah, I wrote that
Also-
down. I was like, the whole like Ford conspiracy is camp. Like,
And
Also-
also,
Takes-
it's so ridiculous.
Steve being belittled through this entire film broke
What?
my heart. I was like, what did Steve do to literally any of you?
Also, he loved Billy Mitchell. He loved comparing himself to like being the best of the best, and I wrote down every single reference he made. 3 minutes in, he compared himself to a warplane pilot. He also compared his ideas on abortion. He compared himself to Tiger Woods, Helen of Troy, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Hang on. I have a question.
Go.
Did you say abortion?
Abortion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He went from
I
that
missed
to
this
Obi-Wan
one.
Kenobi.
I forget
Yeah, he-
exactly what he said.
I don't remember exactly the context, but he was like my ideas on this or like my ideas on are on abortion. If I think it one way, I suck. If I think of it this other way, I still suck.
I'm a son of a, you're a
But-
son of a gun, is what he
Yeah,
said.
that was exactly what he said. But yeah, and then the ref compared Billy Mitchell and Steve Weeb's rivalry
To
to
the
being
Red Sox.
similar, to the Yankees and Red
Yankees.
Sox. So
And like four other things, but I was like, I don't know these people you're referencing, so I'm
I
gonna
believe they
stop.
were just individual sports players.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also would like to give a shout out to Steve's wife, who, when I was introduced to her, I made the note, a stronger woman than I.
A stronger woman than I.
I was like, could
yeah.
never be me. I have never been more like, and also his mom calling him autistic was so funny because I was like, yeah, we all know.
Like it was clear within the first like 10 seconds.
Yeah,
Off
he showed
rip.
up like, that man's autistic.
This
Like,
man
not that there's
obsessively
anything
plays.
wrong with it.
Yeah, like
It's
he had
just an
something going
observation
on.
I made as soon as seeing it.
To like clock that in 2007 is like kind of crazy because like that's like just when people started like really
Yeah.
Yeah.
getting
His mom
More
also, I
information.
think his mom meant it in a kind of derogatory way.
Yeah,
She was like, I think he might be autistic.
I don't know. I feel like she was just like, I think my son is autistic.
yeah, she was like,
And
yeah, he's
I
cooked.
don't know how to help him.
I mean, also, I feel like when we're talking about camp, we also obviously have to mention Roy, who is, in my notes, the king of incels, perhaps, is what I wrote him down as, which is
That's-
the guy who did
Wait, which one's
Mr.
Roy?
Awesome's Guide to Girls.
Where's the one with glasses?
No, he's the Mr. Awesome.
Oh.
Which also, the funniest part of that was when you looked in the corner and said self-produced, like, yeah, we know it's self-produced. You ain't gotta tell us.
It's really funny because like all the people in this film, like who aren't, the two main guys, look exactly how you would imagine video game people to look from 2007.
Like,
You know,
it's also shocking to me how much that has not changed since 2007. If you walk into the game design building,
Oh,
you're like, same people,
Lord have
same
mercy.
people. I'm just seeing the people I used to go to school with.
That's literally crazy. Yeah.
have you
Yeah, I'm
ever
friends with
seen?
game design people, but
Yeah, my roommate is.
like when you
Yeah,
see them,
I
you
did.
know
I
they're a
took
game
game
design
design.
major.
Have
I feel like
have you
that's
guys?
very much true here, except for the old woman.
Yeah,
The
what was
old
her part in this? I'm
She was
so
just,
confused.
she had
She
the
was just
tape.
there.
She carried the tape,
Oh,
but she was also
Okay.
just a Cubert competitor.
Oh, okay. So
But
confused.
she was like in her 80s. I just thought that she was adorable.
Have you seen the movie Pixels?
Yeah.
is
Because
that
I
with Adam
feel,
Sandler?
yeah, that was the one with
him.
Adam Sandler. But I feel like to an extent, this documentary that may have, to an extent, inspired it because, or at least Billy Mitchell, because one of the characters in Pixels just was, exactly Billy Mitchell. Like this is Billy Mitchell in looks, attitude, everything.
Yeah, but he was Peter Dinklage, right? He was
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, not the act, not the same person,
No,
obviously,
no.
but
I
I feel
know
like
it's not the same person, but the actor who plays the guy who's very clearly inspired by him is
yeah.
Peter Dinklage,
Mhm.
which I think is a very funny choice given how big Billy wants to see himself as
Oh
Mm.
shit.
having
Maybe it was just like a humbling moment. Like it was
having a
relatable
shorter
Billy.
actor play him.
Billy Mitchell. Oh, he got humbled. He got humbled. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Peter
He got
Dinklage.
he got banned from everything.
I'm really proud of myself for remembering that much about Pixels.
Yeah.
I unironically really enjoyed it.
Oh no, it's a good film. Like it's unironically funny.
Would you say that movie is camp?
Oh, for sure. I think any Adam Sandler film is camp.
That's
Camp.
true.
It gets camp like as the years go on. More and more camp.
But this film felt more like cringe than camp at moments.
Because it
Negative
wasn't
aura.
Yeah, it was just
Negative
pure
aura.
cringe. Unenjoyable. Like you couldn't find the silver lining in the cringe in this film.
Yeah.
like it
Steve
was
getting his comeback did bring me joy.
Yeah, that was a goated.
The
That was a
ending of
goated
this
sequence.
film brought me joy.
yeah.
When it was like, but wait, there's more.
Yeah.
Like,
The big bold butt coming in like
yeah.
across the screen. You're like,
Oh yeah, the title cards are like I don't know if they're camp. It was just
they
like
are.
Huh?
like the names weren't on screen for long enough. Like not to be overly critical of whoever edited this, couldn't tell you any of their names unless I
That is
made a note of it.
so funny. That is such like a funny like of course they're like just a second too short to be comfortable, but it's like they oh my God, that's so
But again, I might have been like some of them I may have been watching on 2 times speed. So I might have just been like not noticing it until I was watching it that quickly. But even before I switched to that, I was like, wait, who am I looking at? And I would like it was always like too
I
short
think
of a
you're
time
right.
on normal speed.
I think you're right because I think I would like look down and write something and then there'd be a new person. I'll be like, okay, but what's their name? Like I don't.
Comeback name title.
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
really bad with names in general, so it doesn't matter if they're there or not. I'm gonna forget almost immediately.
I feel like
Yep.
Roy, who is one of the inside men, is like the guy who's over Steve's shoulder for most of the first time he goes into the arcade. And I think is the one who slams the trunk. He looks too similar to most of the other people. Like he is the only one that I was like, wait, is this Roy or is this somebody else? Or Brian. Roy shows up every now and then as comedy relief. Honestly, there was a moment where I was like, in my notes, I said, this is reminding me of The Room when he's like, I didn't hit her when he's defending himself and
Yeah,
saying,
yeah.
I didn't
Sure.
threaten him. He threatened himself.
Oh, right.
Like, what do you mean?
This is
I swear it
definitely
wasn't me.
It wasn't me. He threatened
Yeah,
himself.
I
Like the way he
swear.
says it, I wrote down, I did not hit her from like the quote from The Room. Because it very much sounded like that in the moment. I was like, what is he on about? What are these people on about? That's how I felt about most of the film, though.
Like these people actually exist in the world. It's crazy.
It feels like a documentary that was designed as a mockumentary, you
It
know?
feels like a mockumentary.
Mhm.
100%. Have you guys seen the mockumentary TV show on Netflix?
Which one?
Uh,
Hunk on Earth?
Arrested Development.
no. It's a
The
TV show that parodies different documentaries every week.
Oh,
I can't. I think it's
I think
documentary now.
I wonder if
Yeah,
they
it's
have.
documentary now. It's a television series, and it's like Bill Hader and like the SNL guys are the ones who do it. Really funny. Really recommend it. But it definitely felt like that at moments where I was like, this is a mockumentary more than a.
I was like, this is a prank. You guys are pranking me. Seriousness about this right now.
I think another moment that stood out to me towards the beginning was when Walter was like, I wanted to be a hero. I wanted women to like me because I was good at video games. And I was like,
Like
what
like
are you?
I was like, you can't be serious. Like you can't.
What are
This
you?
can't
like
be
you're
for
not that
real.
guy, pal. You're not that guy, pal. Just you're not the guy. Like he was like he actually thought of himself as like Superman. I was like, what's going on? It's crazy.
It was just the I wanted women to like me because I was good at video games felt so insane to me. Like, what an
yeah.
insane take to say so confidently.
To say so confident. Like it was. That's another point where I was like, when are they gonna break for like laughter? Because that was like a joke. Like what?
I also think the hot wings, like sidebar, they would always be in the warehouse with the hot sauce
Bro.
with Billy.
Do you
And you're
think he
like
only agreed to film this if he was like,
promoting.
it was like, we can only film this as long as all the stuff with me has my hot sauce in the background, just so they can buy it. Because
Well, like actually, like
I wonder
Billy
if they have
Mitchell
brand deal.
is known for like suing. Like he takes a lot of people to court and stuff like that. Loses all of them, but like I don't think he's won one either. But like if you say anything bad about him, he will sue you and take you to court no matter what. And like he'll like try and try again. It will never work, but like
You guys think we're gonna get sued?
hopefully I want to see Billy Mitchell. I want to see Billy
You
Mitchell. I'll
think we're
probably
gonna
win.
get sued for posting this?
Actually, probably. It's a good chance. It's Billy Mitchell. It's not real.
I do wonder when they were pitching this documentary, what they were going to, you know, how they pitched it, because at that time, obviously, they didn't know there's going to be a whole Guinness World Record attempt battle between the two. So was it just to show the feud, or what was the original idea for this?
What was
What
the
were they trying to
pitch?
show? What were they trying to do?
I don't know because it got a lot of like local media coverage, I guess.
I think it was trying to play on like the nostalgia factor of like classic games, basically. And
Mm.
like because it wouldn't that be Kitsch too, like the classic factor.
Yeah.
So I think they were trying to get the retro aspect and like bring in all like the nostalgic people, like oh the retro games, and like bring those people in to watch it. I feel like.
Yeah. I think also I don't know if this is kitsch or even camp, but like the scenes that are like too back and forth of them on the phone being like they're all watching the screen, Billy, they're all watching the screen. And Billy sitting on the couch being like, yes, they are all watching the screen with my attempt on it. Like, what was the point?
I
What
don't
was
know.
the point of any of this?
I don't
Also,
know.
And again, how did they film? Did they just approach Billy and was like, hey, you're going to be sitting in your house while all this shit is going on at the arcade, and we just want to record you as you take phone calls?
I don't understand how
Or do you think they just like
documentary
They just
reenacted
needed a
it
lot of
after the
Frankly,
fact?
security footage because
frankly,
like
couldn't tell you.
didn't they also break into the guy's house? Like you guys
That
remember
wasn't
that?
the film crew.
Oh,
That was just the guys
that was where the guys trying to that was where the
check the
conspiracy
machine,
started. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
trying to check the machine. Yeah.
So
I feel like the regular show is another very good example of kitsch TV. I feel the same way about the regular show that I do about the World of Gumball, and the World of Gumball is for sure kitsch.
I like that one.
I wasn't allowed to watch Nickelodeon as a child, so
I wasn't allowed to watch SpongeBob.
Oh,
SpongeBob I was
unlucky.
forbidden from watching.
Unlucky. Yeah, I could watch SpongeBob. I didn't watch Amazing World of Gumball and all that stuff. I didn't watch any of that.
maybe we should just talk about the Mr. Awesome thing for like a while.
I also just want to point out one character who pops up once and is the realest character in the entire thing, where it's one of Steve's students, and she goes, "All the science teachers here are weird."
Oh
That was like a
yeah.
break from like the reality they were in. I was like, okay.
And I was like, you know what? Her name was Sam. I was like, Sam, you're right.
I mean, you could also say I wrote down in my notes that Billy Mitchell's personality is camp, but like the way that the film portrays like how he thinks of himself, like with video game high scores, it's kitsch. That's what I wrote down in my notes.
Yeah, I think that's a good point to make.
He's also like extremely hypocritical too, because as Steve mentioned how he mentioned how Billy was big on having, live scores, but when it came to his high score, it had to the his high score was a recording. And I also wrote down one of the quotes that he said, that Billy said, like relatively early on, that made it seem like he was going to be a good person, but then as we turn out, he was like, no, he isn't really. But he said that the worst thing that could happen would be to give someone the credibility of a sport to someone who
Mm.
doesn't deserve it, but even far worse would be to deny someone the credibility of a sport who does deserve it. And just like, well, he also knows that he has the credibility of a score and he doesn't deserve it.
Yeah.
And so
Clocked.
when someone else does have the credit, does deserve the credibility, he doesn't want to give it to him because he's a massive piece of shit.
I think the title of this episode should just be Billy Mitchell is the worst.
Really much like his all of his high scores are fake. He got banned from all the video game like speed runs and stuff like that. Like, and actually now in like hindsight, like why did he have such an ego even though he was cheating like that?
He
And
thought he
Like
could
also
get
he
away
had
with
such
it.
a high
his
ego.
friend who he originally beat because he lied about his score, like at the beginning, he says, yeah, I beat this guy because he lied about his score. So did you.
Yeah, like
Like, shut up.
I feel like you could say Steve's family is like kitschy. I feel like
Yeah.
they're kind of like the perfect. Well, they're not the perfect family because Steve won't, pick up his weight as a grown man.
He's a teacher.
But I feel like that comes.
yeah,
He's
he's
a
teaching.
teacher. I meant like in the family because the wife was like complaining.
Oh yeah, his wife being
So,
like, I don't really want you to leave for a weekend. I don't want to be alone with the kids. And him being like, no, I gotta do this.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like everything like for me to like think of something as kitsch, it has to remind me of those little dolls. So I don't know. I feel like it just all comes back to those little dolls.
I feel like what's also campy is in the recording that he sends over his son being like, stop playing Donkey Kong in the background, like scream crying in the background. And him being like, you need to stop.
It was just ridiculous. Like what?
or like
His wife is truly a stronger woman than I. Like, I would be like, I'm leaving.
I'm leaving you. Stop doing this.
Stop.
But Donkey Kong. But Donkey Kong. Wouldn't Billy Mitchell's like, bro? I swear he thinks of him. He treats himself as like a villain, like the villain in the
Yeah,
story.
he's like a popular loner. Like that's what
Yeah.
he wants to be.
His children also look exactly like him, which is terrifying.
Billy
His
Mitchell.
daughter shows up at one point, and I'm like, what are you doing? Go away, you
You
demon.
younger female Billy Mitchell, like what?
That's like so unfortunate.
Imagine your dad being that asshat.
Yeah. Do you think his wing sauce is good?
Probably not. That's cheated too.
Try it.
Do
According
we
to
also want
Reddit.
to talk about Mr. Awesome's Guide to Girls?
It was Roy's
The
alter
guy
ego.
who threatened Billy's life and said, I did not threaten him. He threatened
Yeah.
Oh,
himself.
right.
Yeah, he threatened himself. I was like, what? Genuinely, what is happening?
What is happening? Who are you talking about? I think that is the one of the, if not the campiest moments in the film.
Yes.
When it cuts to the self-produced film.
When it comes to the American, when like the second it cut to the American flag and said Mr. Awesome out, because what did he say? He was like, men have never, since the beginning of time, men have never gotten like some valid poo-tang off of being
Respectful
like,
and
respectful and sensitive or whatever. And I
yeah,
was
something like that.
camp.
I think that's the moment when I said the king of the incels.
But also I'm kind of like obsessed with it.
I'm
Like
kind of obsessed with the energy you're bringing.
yeah, I feel like I could. It's like a drag king bit almost. Like
Yeah.
it's kind of like
But it's
straight
too,
man drag, but it's
but it's like too intentional. Like he's trying to be cool.
yeah. But I just like can't let him. So I'm just like
I feel like if a
doing
drag
it.
king did that today, it would be so funny.
It would yeah. So if it was done
It
today,
would kill today, but only if it was done in an unironic, campy way.
This is definitely unintentional camp.
Yeah.
Because like the woman, the naked photo of like him and the woman, like, and the woman is just like barely covering.
Like, and all these people think of them like that's their genuine personalities. Like
Yeah.
they're not playing a
think they are
character.
that cool. The only down to earth person is Steve.
Yeah, I think I wrote down like the way they speak is like this, like their personalities are camp. Just
Yeah.
because they're just so ridiculous, but they're saying everything like so, they're taking themselves so seriously to like a ridiculous point. Like what? It's just ridiculous. Like what are you doing? This is Donkey Kong we're talking about.
Yeah, yeah. They're treating it like the fate of the universe is on the line, and like they're the ones who
Yeah.
stops everything. Like it was like what?
Yeah.
It's like they think it's so cool,
Yeah.
and it's so not.
Yeah, Steve is the only valid one there. He's just a chill guy, you
I
know.
think it's because everyone else. I really think it circles back to his mom calling him autistic. Like I think like it's like he can't. He's been told he's these things for so long. Like his mom kind of brings it up at the beginning, or his wife does, where he's told that he's all these things, but he can't make them fit. There's always like something like he goes to nationals for baseball, but he can't pitch. There's always something unfortunate always happens right before he is successful, which I think makes you root for him. You
Yeah,
want
he's
to
the
see
underdog.
him succeed.
Yeah, he was pitted as the underdog from the beginning.
And then he does. And you feel
then they-
good about it.
And they villanify Billy Mitchell pretty early too.
As they should.
As they should. I mean, they didn't even have to do it. He did it himself.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
did that himself.
He did all that work himself. We didn't.
Again, within 3 minutes of the film starting, he started comparing himself to war pilots.
Yeah, and Tiger was just like what?
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like the whole like creation of kind of like an underdog with a villain story is kind of kitschy. Because
Yeah.
because like the masses love that kind of story.
Yeah.
You know?
Correct.
Okay, thank you for watching this second installment of Lights Camera Media, where we talked about the King of Kong and what elements of it were kitsch and what elements of it were camp. Thank you. See you next time.